And we're live, Ilias.
Ouais. Je suis tordu?
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead.
Est-ce que je
We're
suis
live, as I
tordu?
said. No,
Oh,
no.
wonderful. That's
It
wonderful.
started
We're
already.
finally live.
Go ahead.
Good.
Show is yours.
I'm so happy that we're finally live. I know that we're a tech organization and we've been doing that for 10 years, but we still have hiccups. And this is the first time that we're trying this new platform. So thanks everyone for being here with us today. It's amazing to see so many people taking their lunch break and a little bit further to be here with us today. Je m'appelle Ilias, je fais partie de l'organisation Montréal New Tech ainsi que le lab d'innovation ouverte de Desjardins. Very, very excited to have you with us today. It has been a month in the making, a lot of hours been done here, but we are finally making it. And sorry for the little delay. For the people who don't know, I'm from Morocco, so we're still working on being here on time. I won't take too much of your time. This is a unique event where we had the opportunity to collaborate with Mangrove as well as the Cooperaton team and the whole Montreal New Tech team with the support of the Quebec government, merci au ministère de l'Économie et de l'Innovation, to bring to you a unique Connecting Intelligence event. For the people who know Montreal New Tech, that's wonderful. For the people who don't, you should go to the networking part here, I think, or is it here, to get to know us more and our team more. But the idea behind Connecting Intelligence is really about learning from different ecosystems throughout Canada and the world to get to know about what are the good things, the less good things, good learnings to share, build bridges, build ties, build trust among each other. And what, if not this unfortunate time of the COVID pandemic, to actually seize it. And that's one of the things that we discussed with our team before putting this event together, to say we have to be confined and we have to maintain social distancing. So why not turn this into an opportunity to actually go and connect even further and beyond our bonds? And we had the opportunity to collaborate with Mangrove and the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering to also build ties within Canada, because this is something we have to do a bit more. Without further ado, I know we've been a bit late, so I will cut to the chase. We have a fully packed event. It's amazing stuff going on throughout the conversation. The Hopin platform is amazing for networking. It's amazing for breakout sessions, as well as really awesome to be able to chat among each other, get to know each other, and hopefully build trust and potential collaborations down the road. We'll start with an international panorama on the impact of COVID and the reaction and actions that different ecosystems from Hong Kong, Germany, France, Japan, and Canada, of course, as well as later on diving deeper into what Canada has been up to, from Newfoundland to Quebec, Ontario, British Columbia, and others. And afterwards, we'll have the breakout sessions. The idea behind the breakout sessions, we'll get to a bit more with my colleague Alejandro later on. So without further ado, we are very, very grateful for the support of different players throughout different levels of government, as well as organizations that I mentioned earlier to support us to dive deeper and be able to deliver these kind of events. Now, that being said, we have an amazing guest with us today who we are very grateful for him accepting to be with us today. So please join me in welcoming Ali Ehsassi, Secretary to the Minister of Innovation and Science and Industry. Usually we'd be like clapping and everybody would be like cheering and saying, thank you for being with us here today. Unfortunately, we are all hour confined, so we're like clapping like this, I would say. So thank you so much, Ali, for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Ilias. It's incredible to participate in this program. I understand that you're pulling together from coast to coast, but also have peers from Hong Kong, Germany, and France as well. So I just wanted to congratulate you on your incredible initiative.
Thank you very, very much. And hopefully we're just getting started, because that's the beauty of technology. We can do much more than when we were constrained by the physical aspects of it. So thanks again for being with us here today. And my understanding, and we've seen that Canada has been reacting and proactively to what's going on to maintain the innovation and to maintain the momentum that we have been building in the last couple of years, malgré the challenges that we are facing. Could you let us know a bit more about what is going on your end, and a little panorama maybe on the Canadian innovation ecosystem in these times and those difficult times?
Absolutely. As you rightly pointed out, Ottawa has been incredibly proactive over the course of the past couple of months. What I can speak to is what has been going on at the Department of Innovation, Science, and Industry. And the reason I say that is I've been intimately involved. The person who has taken charge is the minister himself, Minister Navdeep Bains, but I've been working alongside him. And I think the best way to put it is to say that the Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Industry has essentially been playing a match-playing role in meeting our critical needs. We're working on a coordinated strategy that will leverage our industrial base to rapidly scale towards more Canadian production of the critical products we need to fight COVID-19. We're working in close collaboration, obviously, with Health Canada, the Public Health Agency of Canada, and Public Services and Procurement Canada to mobilize our industrial response. And you'll be happy to hear that to date, over 6,000 Canadian companies have contacted us to offer their expertise and capacity since our call to action. All of these companies have been receiving personal calls from a dedicated group of 200 public servants in Ottawa. For example, early on, we engaged with the Cosmetics Alliance Canada, the Canadian Consumer Specialty Products Association, and Spirits Canada. These organizations have since established the hand sanitizer manufacturing exchange to aid in faster, safer, and effective scale-up of hand sanitizer production across Canada. Additionally, I should add, the Government of Canada has also set up an accelerated process to buy tens of thousands of Made in Canada ventilators. On April 2nd, the government extended letters of intent to 3 promising organizations, CAE, Ventilator for Canadians, and Starfish Medical, which all had prior expertise and the ability to scale up production of ventilators fast. The Government of Canada assigned special industrial technology advisors from IRAP to help these companies navigate and scale up the regulatory approvals in an accelerated fashion. The Government of Canada will use every resources at our disposal to advance the delivery schedule of critical health supplies.
Okay. Wow, that's very, very, very interesting. And indeed, that's around the health supply and like this kind of like efforts that we, in a way, react very, very promptly to pivot. And the interesting part, because we're going to talk about a few pivots here in the startup ecosystem, and we've seen it from such a large organization as the government, as well as like many, many larger organizations, and it trickles down. We've heard about the super clusters adapting as well their call for project from the federal, municipal, provincial levels, and this kind of pivot that we've seen the government doing, and even just up until recently with the announcements on May 8th, I think, of the Industry Strategy Council with new angles around like mobility as well, and the challenges that come with it. I was wondering, what's the place of startups? Because we are obviously Montreal New Tech, and we're working with our partners, etc. But within the startup ecosystem, and as much as we love seeing those large organizations who are able to deal with ISED, I think, and all the others support like superclusters and others. What's the place of startups? How do you see that kind of adaptation, Mr. Assassi?
A great question. What I can say is what we've experienced over the course of the past couple of months, as I was trying to highlight in my opening remarks, is we've seen the largest mobilization of Canadian industry, entrepreneurs, and the scientific community in peacetime. This is truly unprecedented. And just to give you a sense, just to step back and be more helpful, I think it's important to say that the procurement strategy that we have at Industry Canada is all meant to open the government to innovation programs so they can provide funding and support to promising projects. And in particular, I should highlight 3 different streams that have been made available. The first one, of course, is called Strategic Innovation Fund. Through this fund, the government is accelerating applications in the approval process so that projects can get off the ground quickly to address the most urgent issues. On April 23rd, Prime Minister Trudeau announced $600 million for the Strategic Innovation Fund to support COVID-19 vaccine and therapy clinical trials led by the private sector. And I can tell you that Canadian biomanufacturing opportunities are being seized. A second stream, if you will, is the Innovative Solutions Canada. The Innovative Solutions Canada program will allow Canadian entrepreneurs to offer their solutions to government and help solve the immediate and ongoing needs of the health system and economy. Challenges are now available on our Industry Canada website, and I would certainly encourage each of you to visit that website. While the challenge stream is focused on small and medium-sized enterprises, grants or contracts could also be awarded to companies that have more than 499 employees when a proposed solution is deemed to be critical or important in helping address a COVID-19 related challenge. The testing stream allows companies of all sizes, in other words, to submit bids in response to a call for proposals. And lastly, I suspect this is one that all of you are familiar with, is the Innovation Supercluster Initiative. The Innovation Supercluster Initiative has been leveraging Canada's 5 superclusters and their network of more than 1,800 members to support the government's COVID-19 efforts. Many project proposals have already been submitted to the superclusters, and the government is ensuring that industry has the flexibility and the resources to allow projects related to the pandemic response to get off the ground.
Thanks so much for this detailed, actually, panorama. And I would like to highlight one aspect, because I'm from Morocco originally. And for us, when we hear government, sometimes it's quite the opposite of approachable. And throughout this pandemic, I had the opportunity to work with a variety of startups and a variety of players. And I was extremely, and this is not, I'm not saying this because you're here, to be honest. Like I say that to the startups as well that we work with. Please take advantage of the main website of the innovation.canada.ca. Check it out. Reach out to the superclusters, because they actually answer your emails. They actually give you a call back. This is amazing, and I know it's an unprecedented time. And the mobilization from les employés gouvernementaux, from for public servants, yes, from public servants is amazing. And I'm definitely not saying this just because you're here, because I tell that to all the entrepreneurs. Don't be not frightened, but don't be ne soyez pas timide. Don't be intimidated by the government, etc. Reach out. If you are an incubator, accelerator, reach out. If you're an industrial player and you're looking how can you best pivot, still reach out, because there are people who can actually give you advice. And trust me, I've seen it. They reply in 24 to 48 hours, and they give you a call back. There are few startups actually who are with us today and who got calls back from, I said, and the superclusters and all those players, because they're really here to help. So, yeah.
So let me thank you for that. What I can tell you is right from the start, we realized that it was imperative that we tap in to the innovative spirit, that many companies would have the solutions, and it was important to harness that. And as I said, it was a clarion call to action, and we are truly, truly blessed to have seen so many incredible companies step up and assist us every step of the way. And to your point, as I indicated, we have 200 government employees who are in constant contact trying to help companies navigate this process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hassassi. We would love to have you more, and hopefully we'll get to have you another time to dive also deeper around like exportation of and export of those innovations, etc. We have an amazing roster of guests today with whom we're going to discuss potential collaboration transcontinental as well as within our Canada ecosystem and between provinces. So I hope you'll get the chance to have a look at what we are doing, and hopefully we'll get the chance to dive deeper with you next time. Thanks again so much for taking these minutes. Sorry again for the little delay. This is the first time we go full online with a real conference and not just like a Zoom, because me personally, I think that we need to build those relationships and these trust bonds among each other. And this is the platform that we've had the chance to use, and hopefully it will work out. So next time we'll be sharp on time.
Thank you so much, Ilyas. You've done an incredible job bringing great minds together, and I wish you all the success in the coming months and years.
Thank you so much. I'm sure the 300 or 400 people that we have with us today really appreciated your time. Have a beautiful day. I heard it's beautiful outside, so hopefully you get the chance to enjoy a little bit of the nice weather as well. Thanks again. Thank you, Monsieur Hassassi. Wonderful. So thanks again, Monsieur Hassassi. I wish we were able to do this and this live. I'm missing this good vibe and good energy of all of you here. We're almost 300 people live. It's amazing for our first full online conference. I can see that we have a variety of people we know, as well as new people I actually don't know. So definitely take the time to introduce yourself here. If you haven't done so, as well as share with us like what you're looking forward to. My colleague Alejandro and others are pushing some polls. So like if you go up to your right, there is like the poll section. Just answer the poll so that we can follow up on that. And without further ado, I know we're a bit late on time, and thank you so much for your patience. As you know, we're agile, and it's the startup mentality to try new stuff, and we're trying it right now. And you're more than 400 people or 500 people who actually registered, 300 who are with us today. Don't hesitate, share the link of the live. People can still join us if you find what we're trying to do here interesting and relevant for our ecosystems. The breakout sessions will be the in-depth moments of what we're doing here. And definitely looking forward to connect with all of you during the breakout. So without further ado, I don't know if Alejandro is here with us to explain a little bit more about the content of our next session on programming. If not, I'll just do it. No, Alejandro? Okay. I think he's busy. Well, I checked the chat. So if someone wants to give me a hint, you can use this or the Slack. I heard that it makes noise when I type on my keyboard. So I still have to work on the full setup. I know we have, okay. So I know we have some friends here who are more techies than me. I'm still like struggling with my laptops and cell phones. For the people who know me more, I definitely need a new laptop and a new cell phone, hopefully. But right now, we are going to move to the next session. Okay, wonderful. So I love how we're getting like all those notifications. So I'm like trying to follow up on our own notifications and read. I have the ADHD something, so I'm seeing like all those notifications. It gets me excited. Very, very excited to have you all with us again, and all the chat that is going on here. So let's dive into the next session. Is David with us here? Because this event and this conference that we're doing here today is really at the essence of it, a collaboration between Mangrove and Montreal New Tech. We have been working hundreds of hours on this. So thank you so much, David, with being with us.
Thank you, Ilyas, for having us. Ça va?
Super. Bah, dis-moi, pourquoi est-ce qu'on s'est mis ensemble d'abord? Like, why are we here together?
Bonne question. D'abord, first of all, I need to congrats you and your team for this amazing job. You know, first experience online for so many people. So welcome everyone to, happy to have you with us. Maybe if you may, Ilyas, I have a little text that I would like to go through in order to be sure to not forgetting everything. So first of all, my name is David Gobey-Kaufman. I'm co-founder of Mangrove, a non-for-profit with the mission to support the development of entrepreneurial ecosystems with trade missions and collaborative events like Canada House at South by Southwest, and like today's Canadian Ecosystem Gathering, also known as the KEG. The KEG is a community-based initiative designed to offer a space for ecosystem builders to share experiences, challenges, and explore collaborations. In 2020, with the support of the Secrétariat du Québec aux Relations Canadiennes, we were planning to have 4 KEG in collaboration with Startup Fest, Platform Calgary, Elevate Toronto, and Atlantic Venture Forum in Halifax. And then, you know what happened, right? This crisis is brutal and is touching all of us. We are all together in this. As many of you, we needed to adapt. So here we are with the first virtual thematic Canadian ecosystem gathering. Thanks for Montreal UTech for this great opportunity to collaborate. It is designed for you to explore how other Canadian ecosystems are reacting to the COVID crisis, and how you as an actor of your ecosystem can share your experience and find solutions that can be accelerated by collaborations. All KEG are followed by a report with the notes and the main takeaway. In order to do so, all discussion will be recorded. All data regarding participant will be anonymized, except if you express your consent. I want to express gratitude to the Montreal New Tech team who invited us to join forces for this event. Thank you so much, Elias, Alexandro, Valentine, Gwendoline, and all the great team. I also want to thank the Secrétariat du Québec aux Relations Canadiennes, who is supporting the Canadian ecosystem gathering since day one. Startup Fest and Platform Category, thank you so much. You have been key partner for this initiative from the beginning. And finally, my colleague Amélie Arès, who is leading the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering Initiative. Thank you so much for your great work. So I essentially hope you will enjoy your experience, that you will get inspired, and you will make great connections. Thank you. Your turn, Elias.
Bad part that like being online and everything being online, it's fully transparent. So there's no more like hiding behind the screen or something. So we're full on transparent here. And the beauty of it is to be able to connect meaningfully and live. And I love what you're doing here with the breakout sessions, because I think that will be the real meat. Like we can talk and like it's all fun and game. And we're very, very happy to have all those people. Like I think we're more than 500 now who actually answered this call. And I think it's 300 live. But now it's like about working together. So the breakout sessions will be key for that. And thank you so much, David, again, and Amelie actually, for putting this together. And it's just the first one. Looking forward to other kegs where we won't be co-organizers, so I can like work on that with you as well.
We will be lovely. Thank you, Elias.
Merci, David.
Enjoy, guys.
Wonderful. So next session is around this understanding between the international and the connections between the international and the Canadian systems. We're very lucky to have representatives from both Asia, Europe, and Canada going to talk with you here today. And to animate and facilitate the panel, we have my wonderful colleague and friend, Rita Baker, who's with us here today. And we have 6 amazing guests as well, who are going to share a bit about their experiences, as well as hopefully the learnings, the good and the bad from each one, both at the ecosystem level as well as the organization level. Thank you so much, Rita, for being here with us.
A pleasure, Elias. It was like technically hairy for a second there. I just joined 2 minutes ago, but hey, made it. So I'm happy.
Thank you so much. And this is, I think, one of the aspects of our startup community is also the ability to actually answer a call, be there, be last minute sometimes, but always delivering the value at a certain level and hopefully beyond the level that people are expecting. So thanks again for answering the call so fast. Thanks for being with us here today. I think we have some really good speakers with us.
Yes, we have some amazing folks that are joining us today. And I would like to hear a lot for them to introduce themselves. We have Chris Linder of the Airbus and Biz Labs. We have Benjamin Bergen, Edward Chen, and many others, but I'll let them introduce because we have very little time. So I'd like them to introduce themselves. Is that good?
Wonderful. So I'm going out, I think, and I will let you handle this from now on. I'll be there in the back if anything. Thanks so much, Ed, for being here. I'm out.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the introduction, Rita. This is Ed Chan from Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks. Yeah.
So Ed, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the organization that you represent?
Sure. So Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks is set up by the Hong Kong government. We are Hong Kong's biggest tech hub. We have about 800 tech companies. So our mission is to really help companies, not just from Hong Kong, but from all around the world who are interested in growing in our region and tapping into our resources. So our mission is to help them. And my role is to work with North American tech companies, especially including Canadian companies, of course, So thanks for having me today. I would love to hear how all the other tech ecosystems are coping with the COVID-19 challenge.
Before you leave, Ed, I just have one more question for you. What are you looking forward to most today, and what would you be your ideal takeaway from today's event?
I think if the COVID-19 challenge teaches us one thing, it must be that collaboration is really important for us to overcome this challenge. So for me, I would love to know at the end of today how I can really work with other tech ecosystems to support tech companies and to grow our tech ecosystems together. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Hi, we have Chris with us. Hi, Chris, how are you?
Hi, Rita. I'm fine. Many thanks for asking, and many thanks for having me. Great setup of the event.
Chris, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and the organization that you work with?
Yeah, sure. I run the Airbus Biz Labs, which is a global accelerator network set up from Airbus, aerospace company. And we work on two sides. On one side, we work with startups taking no equity and getting the best technological solutions to build into our value chains. This is one angle. And the second angle is driving entrepreneurship by building so-called internal ventures, meaning that great ideas from internal people are brought from idea to business.
That's awesome. And what would you like to take away? What would be your ideal takeaway today, Chris?
Well, today I think it's a lot of knowledge sharing on how other ecosystems are dealing with the current situation. If there are any startups out there that have been trying to reach out for us, I think the aerospace, well, it is a fact that the aerospace industry is hardly hit by this crisis. So we're looking into different differentiators, new business models, but those are startups that can help us overcome the situation. So that's much more needed. We don't care where they come from. A good solution is a good solution.
Excellent, excellent. So our next speaker on the panel is Rebecca Kroll. Hi, Rebecca, how are you?
Very well indeed. How are you guys doing? It is a pleasure to be here. So
it's a pleasure to have you here. So Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit more about what is the startup, the organization that you work with?
Sure. I'm the director of content for Startup Fest, which is an event which obviously has also been very heavily impacted by the current situation. But we bring, for 10 years now, we're headed into our 10th anniversary edition this summer. We bring together the entire startup community around three sort of pillars: deep diving content, networking and meaningful opportunities, and then resources as well that startups need to grow their organizations. And we focus particularly on early stage startups, and we've built a pretty incredible community over the last decade, and it's really exciting to see how people are coping and how we can be there to support them.
Absolutely. For being part of this Montreal Eco Startup, I can tell you Startup Fest is the event of the summer. Nobody wants to miss that. That is the best event for startup ecosystem. Thank you.
Great to hear.
So what about you, Rebecca? What would be your best, your ideal takeaway from today?
I think, I guess it's sort of echoing what others have said, in that I'm very interested to hear how particularly people who are maybe a little bit further ahead in dealing with this, where they find themselves now, what's going on in their communities, what is the next step? So sort of what is the future? I'm interested to hear about. And for those that are maybe a little bit behind Canada, what are you experiencing that's similar? How can we sort of work together and teach each other?
Excellent. Hi, Mark, how are you?
I'm fine, Rita, and yourself?
Very good, bienvenue. Mark, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself and about, I think it's Serena, correct?
Yeah, it's the Border Techno West organization. We are a startup hub in Bordeaux, France. And I'm working also on a project called Sirena, which is a project for developing our startups in our region at an international level. So we are talking about 300 startups able to go and export, and I'm trying to help them developing our overseas.
That's awesome. What would you like to have as an ideal takeaway from today?
Yeah, I'm quite interesting for like Rebecca said. Now it's time for the future. How do we restart? How do we continue? how do we continue to improve, and how can we continue to develop international relationships, because the trend actually is going to be a bit more concentrate on ourselves and not so much open. So we need to continue.
Excellent. Valentin, who's in the background. Valentin, do we have another panelist with us today?
We do not. So,
okay.
Oh, Benjamin, actually, you're right. So we do not have Benjamin right now. We'll see if he can join just a bit later.
Okay, excellent, no problem. So maybe I can start with some of the questions here for you guys. And Valentin, you'll have to guide me. I'm not sure how this works because I only see one panelist at a time on my screen. So I don't know if they can all hear me or they can all answer. Do I have to address a question directly?
Very good question. So I can display up to 6 people, including you. So I'll go with that. And if you don't see someone, but you want to ask them a question, I'll just flip things around. So just mention them by name. So they know who you're addressing to. Perfect.
Excellent. For those guys of you who are listening or hopping, the panelists are on a different platform in the background. So that's why we don't see exactly the same thing you guys are seeing. So awesome. So now I can see most of the panelists. That's great. Okay, so if I was to ask you guys, and feel free to jump in, or if you prefer, I'll address one of you, is what measures have you taken in your ecosystem? And like maybe Ed, if you would like to answer this one, what measures have you taken in your ecosystem, especially for startups, that you would like to highlight? Because you guys are kind of like on the other side of the curve from where we are in North America and some places in Europe. So what have you guys done to help your ecosystem during the COVID crisis, or what initiatives came out of it?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rita. Yeah, we are a little bit more fortunate. We got into this COVID-19 situation earlier than probably most of you guys did. So we are now starting to return to normal. But I think one thing that we did for our ecosystem is because, as I said at the beginning, we have about 800 tech companies in our technology park. So because we're supported by the government, we're very grateful for them, and they decided to waive the rent of all of the companies inside our park for 6 months. Wow. So I think that made a huge difference actually in terms of helping companies with their cash flow, etc. Of course, there are other measures that we rolled out to support the companies, but the free rental I think definitely helps. So I would highlight this first. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And Marc, maybe in France, you guys are still, I think, in the thick of it. What measures have been taken from your organization that you think you could share that might be helpful to others around here?
Well, indeed, we are talking today about collective intelligence, and what we have done since now 6 years ago. We started a group for improving our footprint, our environmental impact, ecological impact. And so this group we created is we have 40 companies, members of this group, and companies from different sizes, startups, small businesses, and also big businesses. So why I'm talking about that is because actually during our crisis on COVID, this group who has the habit to work together for improving the ecology and the energy consumption have directly reacted for creating synergies for example, a hydroalcoholic gel manufacturing or some mask manufacturing, and things very simple, but that shows that the network we have created for 6 years ago for ecological improvement is now working for COVID solutions. So it's quite interesting that immediately they have the possibility to shift their goal to this purpose.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. How about you, Chris? What was happening in your ecosystem that you think is something that you could share with others, that is something that was impactful during COVID and was innovative?
Well, first of all, from the big company, from Airbus, we basically while all other airplanes are grounded, took our own airplanes and flew to China, put a lot of masks in it and flew back to Europe, donated all that stuff to our governments. That was something the big Airbus did, and from the innovation vehicles, we quickly shifted into finding solutions that would have a breakthrough within the next couple of weeks and months, and scouting for startups that have COVID-related or a passenger to airline return to trust solution, meaning that what the passengers lost at the moment in traveling to go on an airplane has to be replaced. So we have to disinfect the airplanes. We have to find solutions with UVC or UVA light to kill the viruses. So these are solutions that startups might have used differently, but which we can use for the airlines and for our customers. So that was on the startup side, getting innovation from outside in, but also internally, doing a challenge which just ended today with 1,500 applications of employees of Airbus in all the countries, proposing solutions for the challenge. So I think it is in times like these where you also have scarce resources as budget are being slashed, where innovation can really thrive. So it's an exciting time, but on the other hand, it's also a struggling time, especially for startups, because I think only 1/3 of them will probably survive this crisis, despite the government financing or not.
Absolutely, thank you. By the way, I see on my screen, maybe you were there before, but I see Yuki that joined us. Yuki, I'm sorry, how are you?
Hi, it's Yuki from Japan. How are you guys doing? Very good.
Very good. Yuki, maybe we skipped you a little bit. Would you kindly just introduce yourself rapidly and tell us what your organization is and what your organization right now is doing or in the ecosystems, innovation initiatives that you see that could be helpful to any other ecosystem around the world?
Yeah, sure. My name is Yuki. I work for a company called Plug and Play Japan, which we help startups, not only Japan, but also international startups to get connected with a Japanese large corporation and to do open innovations. And at the same time, I also have another hat outside Plug and Play. I also work for a company called Fintech Association of Japan. That's where I also help especially fintech startups in Japan foster and also promote their open innovation scheme. And to answer your question regarding what we're doing here in Japan, especially after this COVID-19 situation, is that we're doing many things. One is that from startup perspective, yes, some of them, as I think Ed mentioned earlier, that their cash flow is really down. So that's something we can help. We also work here as an investor. So for any good-looking startup, of course, we're more than happy to get connected with a large corporations on the other hand. But at the same time, what I see here in Japan is that Japan is maybe seen as very high-tech reputation, but in reality is that on the ground level, some of the companies are still doing everything on a paper base. Some of the corporations still using fax to do communications. So after this COVID-19, even in Japan, we are in the lockdown situation whereby the companies and even for startups need to work from home. So in a way, we are forced to work, really think about how to work remotely, how we can do everything on digital, everything online. So which means that, the good thing is that this situation has really forced everyone to really rebuild the business model. And then I believe that this 2 months, lockdown's been only in Japan 2 months, but this 2 months has really accelerated our digitalization, digital transformation. So that's something that I see here in Japan at the moment.
Excellent. And last but not least, Rebecca, we're going to have a specific Canadian panel, so I'm going to go quickly with you. But what would you say is an initiative that you saw in our ecosystem that's be worthwhile to share with everyone that might be something to inspire them?
Well, on our end, what we've been seeing is that the startups are going into 3 different modes. They're either hibernating and maybe using government plans to subsidize their day-to-day activities and try and stay alive, or they're pivoting because they've seen an opportunity in the market that they can then move to, or they're accelerating because perhaps they are a StreamYard or a Hopin or virtual webinar platform and now the world is having to use. So those are the 3 sort of categories that we're seeing. And at Startup Fest, given our 3 pillars of focus, whether it be content, opportunities, and networking, we see a lot of content. Content is available everywhere right now. Everyone is putting out conversations. So what we wanted to do is really bring opportunities and resources to the startups that need them now. So on our end, what we're doing is taking the prizes that we run at Startup Fest real time digitally. So we have a Pitch from Home initiative that we're doing that's available through the Startup Fest website. And then we're working with different partners, whether it be corporate partners that want to promote a prize that they're going to do, a proof of concept prize. We're working with media partners that are going to help promote and get visibility to these startups. We're also going to have investors that we're collaborating with to do one-on-one meetings with startups. So what we're working on is really focusing on the opportunities that startups need now, because people are really suffering and they're going through a very difficult time. And so as an ecosystem player and a supporter of the startups, we really want to make sure that we get them those resources.
Excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. And Valentin, I'm seeing some messages flash by. Do we have time for a last round of question, or do we close this here?
Well, I think we have Benjamin too, right? Hi, Benjamin, in this panel.
Oh, I don't see him on my screen. So yes, thank you for
With the
letting
magic
me
of
know.
editing, you'll see him.
Excellent. Hi, Ben. You there? Oh, hi, Benjamin. Awesome. Excellent. Sorry, I was not seeing you.
It's okay. I had some issues logging in, so all good on your end.
Excellent. So I'll ask you if you would kindly just introduce yourself. By the way, I think, Rebecca, you need to leave. Did I get this correctly, that you had an emergency?
It's not. I can hang on until the end of the panel. I'll be okay. I just have to move on to another event afterwards, but I'll hang on until we close out the panel. It's no problem.
Excellent.
Thank you for checking.
My apologies, Benjamin. So Benjamin, if you would kindly just introduce yourself, your organization quickly, and tell us about an inspiring event or action that took place in your ecosystem.
Yeah, so my name is Benjamin Bergen. I'm the Executive Director of the Council of Canadian Innovators. We're a business council that works with actually scaling technology companies. So these are firms that are traditionally 10 million in sort of reoccurring revenue and up. And over really the last 8 weeks, we've been doing advocacy work, not just for our membership companies, but really sort of the broader ecosystem around the challenges facing tech. And so as an organization, we've really looked at where are the gaps in funding and issues. So in Canada, there's been a number of sort of large responses, things like the wage subsidy, pieces around IRAP, and some of the additional things that MP Ali Assassi mentioned earlier in this call. And really, I think one of the interesting things is that a lot of the changes that the government introduced moved very quickly, which is very positive. But it was very much in direct response from startups and from scale-ups communicating their challenges around the program. And I think one of the large takeaways from this crisis has been really the importance of tech engaging government and engaging government in a really sort of meaningful and fulsome way around obviously not just things like funding and talent and procurement as a tool for growth, but really around things like standards and regulations, intellectual property. And one of the things that I think we in Canada would like to see, or that our innovators are telling us that we would like to see out of this crisis, is how do we use this as an opportunity to actually commercialize a lot of the really great research that our startups and universities do. Canada as a country actually lags in the sort of global index of innovation. I think we're now behind Slovenia, and that's no insult to Slovenia, but it's sort of putting us in sort of the 22nd position from the Bloomberg index. And so I think one of the things that I would really like to see come out of this crisis is how do we build a commercialization strategy, not only around things like PPE or other health tech solutions, but what are the other critical digital infrastructure pieces that we as Canadians need and can actually look to commercialize globally. So, as a country that's as massive as Canada, things like, 5G networks that are able to actually expand into remote communities, looking at cybersecurity, realizing that some of the traditional partners that maybe we've had are no longer reliable. And that's really where I think that the next sort of iteration, as we're continuing to deal with COVID, needs to look at. It needs to look at the opportunities that we can create, not only to help mitigate these challenges, but as a way to generate prosperity for our citizens.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely. So Valentin, we do thank you very much, Ben. Valentin, we have a time for a last question, a last roundtable question. Valentin, are we there?
Sorry, I had to. You see this little game we do. So you know what? Let's take the time for the one last question, and then we'll go. But let's make it quick. And I propose we start with Rebecca first.
Okay, if you don't mind, yes, Rebecca, I will start with you, but I will ask a question once so that everyone can answer it. So my question is, if you had a message for governments to help take an initiative so that they could facilitate or increase collaboration, innovation collaboration in their ecosystem, what initiative, one initiative, would you recommend for them? Rebecca?
I would say something along the lines of an open data sandbox for businesses, because right now we're getting a lot of information on testing, we're getting a lot of information on infection and how things are spreading, but some sort of a data sandbox that would help businesses understand things like the return on investment if they put tables, if they take half the tables out of a restaurant, or what they can, so that there's more of a collaboration between getting the scientific data and getting it to businesses in an open collaborative fashion that allows them to access that data and implement it into their directly into their businesses. So
Excellent.
Open data sandbox.
Excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. And we'll let you go. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Take care, guys.
Okay. I'll follow with Chris from Airbus. Chris, your industry, like you said, is so hard hit. And you know that the new reality post-COVID might not be the same. So Chris, could you give us one initiative that you think government should be taking to help you guys out?
Well, I think instead of just pouring money on the ecosystem, it's also a correction of the ecosystem. A lot of startups have emerged last years because there was too much money on the market. So it's somehow a correction, but especially from governments, instead of giving free money away, I would engage startups in real projects. As Rebecca said, testing is an issue. Startups can solve that. Also, a lot of other around platforms and customers. These are all problems startups can solve. So just putting them on the table instead of letting the big ones do a tracing app like in Germany, SAP and Telecom is doing. It's just taking them months. I think a startup could do that overnight. So helping them to scale there and have the security in place. That would be the advice I would give our government.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. Benjamin, I'll go with you. What would be your answer?
Yeah, so I think that we need the federal government and in Canada, some of our provincial governments to make some bets on some companies and actually look at some areas where we as a country can actually advance and commercialize and create opportunity. I think one of the things that we as Canadians need to be very cognizant of is that in the last crisis in 2008, oil was at $100 a barrel, and it is clearly not there right now. So we're not actually going to have our natural resource dividend to pull us out of this crisis. It really will be innovators scaling and building billion-dollar companies that will ultimately return us to a place of prosperity. And so what I would say is government really needs to be implored at looking at how to create and support winners in some of these new spaces. Elements that I mentioned in my sort of opening remarks around cybersecurity, remote work, digital tracing, some of these kind of key areas.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Mark, what about your recommendation to your government? What would you think would be a good way for the government to help out the ecosystem in post-COVID?
First, I'm sharing the 2 points of view of my colleagues just before, exactly what I think same. But I think that the day after will be green, and so my recommendation would be to settle quickly a plan, an ambitious plan for the green technology promotion and also the clean techs. So one specific point should be that they have to support not only with subvention, but also with a reduction of the VAT rate for all the clean tech and green tech solution. Because the problem today is those solutions are good, but they are not business good because the costs are high and the price are too high. So consumer, no one wants to buy it because it's too expensive. So now it's time to go further in these technologies and to change the world with more ecology in our technologies.
Absolutely, absolutely. Edward?
Yes.
What would be your answer to this question as to what would be one thing the government could really help with post-COVID innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple panelists already mentioned the supply side. I think the government can also help on the demand side. For instance, for lots of the healthcare innovations, making it easier for social or health organizations to adopt those solutions, say from a regulatory standpoint. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Edward. How about Yuki? I think you're the last one to, if I did not miss anyone, Yuki, you'll be the last one to, your last word on what the government could do to help.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the panelists, the other panelists already covered most of the things I like to mention, like, sandbox and supply chain side and the demand side, just Ed mentioned. So one thing is, speaking from Japan's specific perspective, is that we should really use this situation and turn this into opportunity, and really, and also from even at the moment, most of our sort of official documents are still being done on paper with physical stamps on it. So even for the government, most government agency is still using the same old method. So it's really, I think even for the government side, it's really good for them to digitalize. I think use this as an opportunity to digitalize themselves. So that I think that will have more impact on the private sectors and also startups ecosystem as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Yuki. I mean, this was, I thought, amazing information for not just ecosystem, but if we have some regulators listening out there, this is something to really listen to very carefully, because these are excellent suggestions and very pragmatic and things that will actually really help the ecosystem to help itself and help the economy in the end. So I would like to take this time to thank every single panelist here that was here and took the time to answer those questions. And I will say goodbye and return the mic to Ilias. Ilias, are you there? Oh, I see you starting to come in.
I've been listening very carefully. There was so much content. I think we should have done the whole conference just with our amazing guests. Thanks so much, Rita, for this wonderful animation and facilitation. I know it wasn't easy, it was last minute, but you did amazing work. And the beauty of that, no, mais tu m'entends bien? Can you hear me well?
I hear you, but I do not see you, by the way. I don't see your camera. I don't see you on camera.
It's okay. It's okay. I think I have to open. Yeah, I think I'm live.
Oh, yeah, I see you.
No.
Okay, awesome. So anyway, thank you for
if I'm not here and you can hear me.
We hear you well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's the most important part. Anyway, I'm so tired. My face is ugly, so I guess sometimes it's better not to have your face.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Cool. So thank you very, very much, Rita. It was really great content. And again, like a little reminder, we have our sessions right after this one around the breakout rooms around the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering, as well as the industry ones and on the open innovation side. So we have had like a variety of discussions throughout the world, like from fintech to manufacturing to aerospace, etc. And we have sessions, healthcare, life sciences as well. So we'll have those sessions if you want to dive deeper. This is kind of like more like an amuse-bouche, and hopefully we'll dive a bit deeper in a few minutes. So wonderful. We're a little bit back. We're a bit running after time. So let's get to the next one. Thanks again, Rita. It was wonderful having you. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So without further ado, as we discussed, now is the time really for the start of the Canadian ecosystem gathering to dive a bit deeper into this kind of relationship across Canada. We are very, very lucky to have had, in the same way as for the international one, some amazing representatives from across the world. We have now amazing guests throughout Canada. And I think I have to introduce our friends David or Amélie. Is David or Amélie joining me, or is it just me? I'm fine being myself, but like it's always better to play two people. Anyway, if David or Amélie wants to join from our friends at Mangrove, you're more than welcome to join. Otherwise, I'll dive directly into welcoming our awesome guests. So as you know, there is diversity of ways to categorize ecosystems. And I'm not going to dive into that because otherwise that's the next 10 minutes of discussion. And you, for the people who know me, you know that I have really hard time maintaining the time, too much. So we decided to do it by density and spread. So large spread ecosystems and high density, or high spread and high density. We thought that it was like the best, not the best, but like to accommodate our multiple guests. So for the first one on the high density side, we're very, very lucky to have people both from District 3 Innovation here in Quebec, the Foresight Accelerator and the MT Lab. Hi, hello, Amélie.
Hi.
It took you a while. Were you sipping coffee? Super
I was just taking a nap.
Yes?
No, we had some.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was so boring. She's like, "Hey, dude, I'm out. I'm out."
No. I was just backstage and I couldn't get in on my own, so now I'm here.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Now you have the key. That's wonderful. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, wonderful to have you, Amélie. I know we all worked super hard to get these events going. I know there is a lot of content. We're going to try, and we're going to go a bit above time, but we want to take the opportunity to actually welcome our wonderful guests. So we have, let me know, who do we have with us today? Amélie, tell me. I have them under my eyes. But
Yeah, so you're testing me. It's great to be here. I want to first say that we decided to separate the group in relation to common realities. So we'll start with a panel of high density ecosystem. We have Shane Flynn from DMZ. Hi, Shane. We welcome Catriona Power. Bonjour, Xavier. We have Xavier from District 3 and Catriona Power from Foresight. Hi, welcome. Well, we're missing one guest. Florence, are you there from MT Lab? Drum roll. So no.
Let's see Florence for now, but okay. Florence, if you hear this, there's a little StreamYard link that it waits for you.
So we'll take her when she gets here.
Wonderful.
So thanks a lot for being here. It's really a pleasure to receive you as guest. Thank you. Ilias, you're frozen, so I'll keep going. So to begin with, I guess we were really interested for that panel to look into what tackled the ecosystem in regard to the COVID-19 situation. And the first thing that we really wanted to discuss all together was one measure that occurred or that arose in your ecosystem that you would like to highlight yourself and share with us. No, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure. So I'll take the first question.
Sure, go ahead, Shane.
From the DMZ here at Ryerson. Here in Toronto. So I think one of the things that I found was really interesting was, as the buildup of COVID-19 was really starting to happen, a lot of our founders actually proactively said, hey, we're not going to be coming to the office. This was, think beginning to middle of February. And it was really interesting because, we didn't think at the time it was going to be what it actually was here in Toronto, but we were almost forced to start to adapt because of our founders and because some of them did want to take those extra precautions. And I think to me, this always kind of just goes back to the mindset of, listening to your customer or listening to your end user and really giving them what they wanted. If we took a position of, hey, the DMZ is still open, Toronto's still open, you have to come into the space, we wouldn't have been able to be as prepared as we would have been once the office went into lockdown, because really for these first few founders, they were almost our guinea pigs in this virtual world.
I totally understand. Xavier, anything that you'd like to share with us in that sense?
Yeah, so as you may know, we work with scientists, a lot of deep tech researchers, tough tech people, and it's been a kind of two axes. One is been trying to mobilize everyone, not just our own ecosystem, but even at the government level, at the startup level, at the incubator level, to get together, collaborate, and figure out how we're going to extend, the very pragmatics of the runways of our startups, because COVID this COVID crisis is going to last a long time. So trying to align people's visions on the urgency, on the needs to think long term. There's been great government, short term solutions, but I think the biggest turmoil is yet to come. So that's been one axis, and I think the other one is been, because we're in science, we've got people with immediate great solution. For example, I have one AI company who came up with a really list of vaccines, two of which are already being put into place, and that are COVID related. The biggest challenge is getting these people who are extremely resilient, who have solutions, in contact with the people who are ready to adopt. I know it might sound like an obvious thing. It's COVID, it's crisis, everyone's willing and able, but it's not that easy for people who have solutions to get their solutions adopted.
That's really interesting, because of course, community-based initiative, and I know, for example, DMZ contributed to support the startup that were coming out of 111 in Toronto because of the COVID situation. They were a pivot, so they provided help with mentorship and everything. So there was a lot of communities, a sense of community in that sense. But what you're pointing towards is really interesting in the sense that we tend to change our behavior, but not the way we could predict. So that's interesting. Catriona, now I'd like to hear you on your part. I know you. Bonjour Florence. Hi, hello.
Hello.
So, Catriona, can you bounce back on what Xavier said, or do you have any other example that you'd like to share with us?
Thank you. And thank you for having me on the webinar today and on this panel. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Catriona. I work at Foresight Clean Technology Accelerator. We're based in Vancouver, BC. So it's the morning for me. And so bon matin. So I guess, we work a lot with clean tech companies, and we have a number of different programs for startups, at the very early stage, all the way through to commercialization and those who are starting to see revenues and growth. We also work with industry partners to help them source innovation to meet their sustainability or, their climate goals and things like that. It's been an interesting time in terms of COVID. How we are, supporting our ecosystem here and the measures we're taking. We've been hosting weekly webinars to really amplify all the work that's, all the great work that's been done by government partners and also the superclusters, to let all the startups and SMEs know about the opportunities to be able to connect to funding, whether that is for, COVID-19 related, PPE products, maybe to be able to commercialize those, or even to, support with funding if they need relief and things like that. It's we've also seen a number of clean tech companies, because they are, manufacturing companies as well. They make products and services. They've been actually diverting and pivoting their business model and making use of their manufacturing facilities to create, PPE equipment, whether that's 3D printing for ventilation systems, whether that's or ventilators, whether that's for masks and things like that. So we've seen a real pivot, and there's some great groups in British Columbia doing that. One's called the Open Source Medical Supply Group, and anybody can join. And in terms of other measures we're taking, we're also we've been collecting data on the ecosystem here to really make sure that government and industry know what's happening, and sharing that as part of our wider advocacy work with the Canada Clean Tech Alliance, to show that, if there is to be a restart and a recovery, if there is a restart and recovery, clean tech should be top of mind when we're thinking about the green recovery and building resilience into our economic structures.
Totally. Thank you. I think you're right. We've seen throughout the world, actually, not only in Canada, we've seen initiative of pivot startups and companies pivoting towards, the new product.
Hey.
Hey, welcome, Ilias.
Hello back. I missed you.
Yeah, we lost Emily for a second, so she'll come back. Ilias,
this is the beauty of technology.
Smooth transition, like nothing happened.
Yeah, smoothly. This is amazing. Sorry, we're trying this for the first time again, and we're adapting to the reality. But really interesting here, the discussion around the startups themselves. One of the aspects that we discussed from when we were trying to see how this event or this gathering would work is also like, how can we see the collaboration among the players? I think, Florence, there was like some initiatives that you launched that was like fairly exciting. Maybe you can share a bit about it. I honestly, like, hopefully you haven't spoken about it because I was like having trouble with internet. But if you haven't, let us know a bit more about it. And I would love to explore the possibilities of actual collaborations, and then we will dive into the breakout rooms.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Ilias. I haven't spoken yet, so it's great. So let me just maybe introduce MT Lab first, what we're doing. So I'm French Canadian, as you can hear, so I'm sorry for my English, but I'll try. So I'm the program manager for startups at MT Lab, who's we're a connection hub between major businesses in tourism, culture, and entertainment sectors. And startups. So what I do is to create personalized acceleration paths for startups to help them acquire the tools and coaching they need to work with these big businesses, such as, for example, Air Canada, Tourism Montreal, Yule Airport of Montreal, Palais des Congrès. So it seems like we're working only in Montreal, but we're also working with other businesses around Quebec. So yeah, as you guys know, we help these entrepreneurs finding their way around COVID crisis right now, and our team is working with our partners to understand their new reality and needs in our sectors, and so to generate new kinds of co-development projects between them and startups. So this said, well, we started a new initiative. We were thinking of what would be the best initiative for a win-win situation for bigger businesses and startups. So we know entrepreneurs are used to do more with less. So their agility really help bigger businesses to adapt and to find a new solution to this situation where they need to adapt really quickly. So that's a really good connection to make between them two. So we started a catalog with different solutions from startups about their pivots to answer different needs around the COVID crisis. So we asked different incubators, accelerators around Quebec to so if they could give us like a list of startups who have solutions, immediate solutions to this crisis, and who did already have like pivots, who could pivot like maybe 45 degrees and not like 90 degrees or 120 degrees, just to adapt their solution for this crisis. And then we had a list of them. We have now like about 80 of them on the catalog. So I invite you to have a look at it on our website, mtlab.ca. You'll see what's going on here in Quebec.
Great, thank you very much, Florence. Yeah, go ahead, Elias.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. So I see here, and I know we will dive deeper into the discussion. Valentin, can you leave like everybody on stage? Like, it feels weird to be like looking at myself like this. Yeah, here, I'm talking to you. We're like in this together, you know? I don't see Xavier, but I guess Xavier is still with us here. David joined as well. I would love, okay. C'est le puzzle in my face, that's beautiful. Maybe one last question before jumping into the next one. What do you see as either possible path of collaboration across incubators, accelerators, coast to coast? Because we have some specialties. I know, like, well, I don't know enough DMZ, and I would love to get to know more about DMZ. But we are here in Quebec. District 3 is doing amazing through the community aspect as well as the open innovation one. I know that they're behind a variety of initiatives like the X Prize on life science. They have few. They're really like propelling new initiatives here in our community. We just heard from Laurence that they have launched this catalog of like pivot that is really interesting as well. How do you see a potential path of this kind of collaboration around maybe some specialties of each one? And or is there any incentives or any way or any path forward to increase this?
I can speak.
Yeah, Xavier.
You mentioned District 3 many times. Thank you. And by the way, thank you to you and your team for organizing this. Montreal New Tech's always been animating our ecosystem really well, and you guys take initiatives fast, so it's really cool. Thank you. I think one of the things that we're all seeing in all of our ecosystems is this accelerated digitization of everything. You know, if we weren't there already, we need to be there 100% now, and some of us are going faster than others, but definitely everyone's going there. That's changing the whole dynamics of the market, because once you digitize everything, you could create a scenario where things are going to get consolidated. You know, if you look at size and scale and how much that matters for Google, Facebook, you know, the big six as that we all know about, Microsoft and Amazon. That may mean that we need to reconsider our value proposition as Canada. We have tons of value in our ecosystem, but should we be rethinking how that whole ecosystem works together to produce a more solid, more scalable infrastructure? It's a hypothesis I'm putting on the table. I'm looking at it from a strategy perspective, and I'd love to keep talking about this with anyone else that's interested.
Cool. And thanks for the little love. Just like to highlight this is definitely not a one-man operations here. We have a lot of people behind the screens who are making sure that we run this. We have been volunteering our time here for the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support, and a big shout out to the whole community. And we're definitely looking forward to connect better with other communities. So Shane here, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I'm from Quebec, so I don't know that much actually on these kind of potentials, and I would love to know.
My dad's from Quebec, so it's okay.
So let us know a bit more, because a big part of our audience is here. How do you see like collaboration potential with District 3, for example, or MT-Lab on what Florence has just said?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, we at the DMZ have already seen a lot of these opportunities come up. We're working with Startup Fest. They mentioned one of the prizes. So one of the prizes we're offering with Startup Fest is accelerated acceptance into the DMZ program. So that's just a small component of how we're working together. I think, you know, what we've seen across Canada is everyone is pulling in together. You know, CCI developed this amazing Slack community where I think Benjamin and a few other people from the team are in there talking. Startups are asking questions around, like, does this wage subsidy exist for me? Can I apply for it? And so that's one component where it's been really awesome to see people kind of come together and work with each other and really just go out of their way to help each other out. On the collaboration side, so the DMZ, we've made all of our programming virtual. Any workshops, the EIR or mentor sessions that we have can all happen, whether it's Zoom, Skype, Google Hangouts, whatever your preference, we can accommodate that. But what that means is that no longer are people restricted to having to physically be in Toronto to benefit from the DMZ program. And what that means is we've now opened up our programming not only to other people in Canada, but actually earlier today, we just orientated a team from Hungary who's looking to explore the North American market. We were going to bring them physically to the DMZ to help them out, but we're just going to do everything virtually. And so it got us to think that if we can offer our programming virtually to people in Hungary, which are 6 hours ahead of Toronto's time, why can't we open up a lot of the programming to other people regardless of where they were? So we opened up all of our workshops to everybody. We sent that out. And in the same spirit, any partner or organization that reaches out to us to say, we're running a workshop, we're doing this event, we're happily posting it to our community to really encourage them to join. I think, you know, now is the time where we want to really be specific in our efforts. You know, what's the point of the DMZ and, you know, District 3 or any other organization running a sales workshop at the exact same time. Like it just doesn't make sense right now when we have so much flexibility. You know, I really want to give a kudos to you and the team. I've run a few webinars for the DMZ since this whole situation, and it's definitely not easier. Running a live workshop is way, way easier than doing an online one. So kudos to all of you. But I think the other thing that's happened is people are just more willing to take, not necessarily chances, but perhaps risks, or they're willing to explore different avenues. So before thinking about working with Launchpad in Vancouver, would have been really hard for us to do, but now because we have everything virtual, it's super easy. Obviously, there's the time difference, which you gotta navigate.
Yeah. You have to wake up early then, or finish your day late, but that's fine. But I think this is really important, and I don't want to take too much space here. And we're going to discuss right after in the dive deeper, because this is at the core of what we're trying here to do with our friends at Mangrove, is to explore this kind of collaboration. And as you said, maybe some accelerators, incubators have a certain expertise. They should share it. It doesn't make sense, for example, that we're not enough aware of what's going on clean tech at the BC side. And we're very, very, very happy to have you representing today on the clean tech one, because we have some clean tech initiatives, and I'm not sure they are well known enough what are the possibilities from coast to coast to coast. So I'm getting my team throwing tomatoes at virtual tomatoes at myself, because I'm really bad at managing time. Didn't know that, so at least I have some heads up here. But we will move to the next panel right now. I'm really sorry if we weren't able to dive as deep as I would have loved. Yes, go ahead, Catriona.
Thank you. Sorry, one more thing. I just want to share, and actually, bouncing off Shane Flynn, Foresight is actually going to be opening up our Clean Tech COVID-19 recovery program in the coming weeks. So happy to collaborate with all the accelerators on this call to amplify that. It's going to be open to Canadian companies across all provinces, not just BC and Alberta. And we're happy to collaborate, happy to talk, get in touch. We're here.
Catriona, I'd like to invite you to share the link in the event chat so that people can have access. Absolutely, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick thing, we're going to do a recap of all those links, etc., because there's so much to be shared, and we are going with our friends Amelie and David. We're going to recap the discussions at the breakout sessions as well in a few minutes. So let's move to the next one, unless there is a last word. I know that the initiative of Florence, of Florence as well, but of the MT Lab around highlighting those startups that have a pivot or have done a pivot that can serve the current needs. If there is maybe one last word from one of you that didn't get the chance yet, otherwise we'll move to the next one. Xavier, Catriona, Shane, yes.
Well, I'd just like to add one word. I'm sorry, one word is hard, but I initiated also a 5 à 7, a 5 to 7. I don't know what's the word in English.
Aperitif.
Yes. Every Monday.
Québécois, let's have a drink.
Let's do this. Marc, I miss you from Bordeaux. Every Monday night we have a meeting, an online meeting. To just share ideas and best practices with other program managers. So if you want to join, you can just write to me, and then we'll see how we could collaborate around Canada. Now we only have people from Quebec, but maybe we could do it in English and then share it with you guys. So that would be a good way to just keep posting.
Super. Xavier, merci beaucoup, Florence. One last word, or yeah.
Well, I think you should continue doing what you're doing. Thank you to you and your organization. I think that's a good last word.
Thank you very much. Merci
Thank you, Xavier. Great.
It was good. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
We have a little bit of a glitch here. So, well, I'll keep going. I guess. Are you there, Elias? Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you, but
your mic is off. So as soon as we have it back.
Oh, I'm on now. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Sorry.
So for the next panel, we're going to look into the higher spread ecosystem. So larger territories. We have brought together a few people from coast to coast. And in the first place, I'd like to introduce David, the CEO and founder of Mangrove, my colleague. Hello, David.
Hello.
So you'll start the panel right away.
Thank you very much, guys. Good job. Good job. It's good. It's looking good. So I will invite on stage the three panelists. So there's Florian Villomé, which is from Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship in Toronto. Welcome, Florian. We have Bria Lake, CEO of Accelerate Okanagan in BC. And also Martin Beaulieu, which is, I would say, CEO of Economic Development from Rimouski. It's called SOPER. So hi, everyone. Welcome on stage.
Hi.
Without further ado, I will invite you to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your organization, and maybe give a little perspective of demographic of the region that you are in order for the one who don't know where you're based, it will help maybe have a perspective of the impact that you have. I will start with maybe Bria.
Hello, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. It's been so insightful already today, really enjoying it. So I'm based in Kelowna, British Columbia, so in the Okanagan Valley. We span a large geographical area from the state's border of Soyuz up into Salmon Arm, so a number of communities. We help to support about 700 tech companies, have about a $1.7 billion economic impact here in our region, and about 12,500 workers are working in tech in our area.
Super. Thank you so much for being here. Florian, your turn.
Yeah, so my name is Florian Villomé. I'm the director of Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship. So it's a center within Memorial University in Newfoundland and Labrador. And we focus mostly on inspiring and enabling aspiring entrepreneurs. So helping students being interested in entrepreneurship, but also helping them to come up with their initial idea. So we really focus within university. But outside in the larger ecosystem, like St. John's is kind of the capital for startups. It's a very large community for Newfoundland, but the focus right now for the center is really the university and the St. John's community.
Thank you so much for being here, Florian. And then Martin Beaulieu from Rimouski. Thank you for being here. Please go ahead. Oh, I think that you're on mute. And it's normal. Valentin, if we're able to get Martin, beautiful voice.
Martin, your voice is not beautiful enough. You need to push. I don't hear you, Martin. Try to reconnect from your phone. Maybe it'll work better, and we'll just continue and see if we can make it work. Cool. No, we don't still hear you. Try with another device.
So we'll go and come back for Bria. So since the beginning of the crisis, can you share with us an initiative that you saw that you felt was very interesting?
Yeah, for sure. I think something that we really focused on from day one is kind of 3 principles, and it was really to connect, curate the right information, and convene the right people. And so how do we help to connect the entrepreneurs that we're helping to support and the companies? And that was really helping to convene the right information, either be it from government incentives that we already talked about today, as well as with the right connections or levels of expertise they needed. I think this has already been mentioned, but during this crisis, we've really seen that borders are not an issue when we talk about connecting expertise. And so experts that we might have not been able to connect to in our more rural region, we're now able to plug in our entrepreneurs too. So how do we help to connect them to the right resources they need? And also convening. I think this is a very important time, especially for founders. It's a lonely journey, entrepreneurship. So how do we help to put them in the room with other entrepreneurs and share best practices and help them through this tough time? So we started by grouping startups together in our region, as well as scale-up companies, and figured out they would really lead the discussion themselves with what was their biggest pain points and how they could help each other. So I would say those were the biggest things that we implemented right off the bat. So help to connect, curate the right information, and convene the right people.
And about the peer-to-peer initiative that you did, what is the format? Can you share like what is the size of the circle, and like did many of it, and is it working well? That you have already like experience that you can share?
Yeah, so we're actually hosting them bi-weekly, depending on the stage of the company, and they are entrepreneur-led. So we send out the invites, we manage the calendar invite for everyone, but we have an entrepreneur show up and ask the right questions. And so typically what we're focusing on is what's working well, what's been a little bit tricky over the last few weeks, and things that they would be doing differently. And then if there's resources to share, we'll help to collect those with our staff member that does attend within that group.
Super. Thank you so much, Bria. Is Martin's back? Almost. Valentin, can we bring Martin on stage?
I cannot go to Martin's place. There's a 2-meter rule. I cannot, I have to respect. We'll keep trying.
Okay, excellent. We'll be back to you, Martin. Florian, so please share, did your organization around did some amazing stuff since the start of COVID?
Yeah, so there are 3 things I'd like to mention. One is not our organization, but something I saw in the ecosystem that I found very innovative. So there's a Newfoundland and Labrador Association of Technology and Innovation, and they facilitated a temporary staff reallocation. So basically, companies were in a struggle and potentially losing their staff. Some other companies who were better off offered to take their staff for a limited amount of time and then give them back afterward. So the support.
You talk about material?
What do you say?
You talk about material, like they were sharing stuff?
No, not sharing employees.
Employees, okay, excellent.
So some employees will be relocated in other companies, and there were a number of companies who step up to do that, and so it's still ongoing. It's very interesting. I think the 2 other things that we did on our end is we have a program called the Entrepreneurial Work Term Program, and where students can spend a semester full time working on the idea, and we kind of reopen application. And what we saw is kind of an explosion of application because a lot of co-op placements have been canceled. So students are trying to find new opportunities. So it's actually a good time for entrepreneurship. And the last thing I think I'd like to mention is we started to offer remote childcare during our workshop for students. And there are 2 reasons for that. Like in general, accessing entrepreneurship training has always been an issue for parents, especially for female students. And it's even more a problem in a time of confinement, where you have a reduced support system. And the second thing is that we want to send a clear message to female students and students who are parents that they are welcome at the MCE.
Thank you so much, Florian. Is Martin back? Do we have him yet? No. We'll come back to okay, it's not sure.
Oh, we have hope. We have hopes.
We have hope. So, Bria, I know that Accelerator can again have a very strong national network, and I think international too. Since the beginning of this crisis, how this network is it still useful to have this strong network? And if so, how did you activate it?
Yeah, I think it's very strong to have a network like this. So Accelerate Okanagan, we host an event called the Canadian Accelerator Summit. We would be going into our 4th year of the event taking place this fall. Obviously, we're redesigning, thinking what this could look like. And I think Mangrove taking a leadership approach and hosting something like this is a great opportunity for organizations like ourselves to connect on best practices. As soon as this happened, we're a part of the Canadian Digital Media Network as well, so CDMN, and they started hosting weekly calls for the CEOs. And so there's often anywhere from 20 to 40-ish CEOs on this call weekly. And it was really important to have this network to share what's happening, again, in the regional perspective, but how it might relate. Often, a lot of us have very unique business models. We'll have shared space, we'll have programs that we're offering. So how do we help to share what we're already learning in our region and templates and tools to each other on what those next steps should look like? I have to give a call out. I know DMZ was on here. We often look to a lot of their tools that they made available in the early days on the approach they were taking to close down their offices. So that was super, super helpful. Now in British Columbia, we're quite focused on reopening office spaces. It was announced last week by our provincial government that they will be opening as of May 15th. So now we're looking to how do we do the right staged approach and not put our individuals at risk. And one of those big things is tapping into our network to share best practices, not only with our accelerators, but the companies that we work with as they're just trying to navigate this uncharted territories as well.
Super. Thank you so much. Martin, let's try this.
Is it working now?
Yes, fantastic. Okay,
At last.
It's your moment. Glory. So welcome, Martin. So can you introduce your organization, please, and just give a sense of the demographic, the region a little bit where you're active?
Rimouski is located in the eastern part of Quebec by the St. Lawrence River. And SOPR is like the one-stop shop for economical development. So we're taking care of business development, startups, development banking, as well as tourism. So it's a larger territory and a broader mandate as well. So this is, in a nutshell, what we do. Of course, Rimouski is, I would say, well known for the blue economy. So basically, we are the cluster for the blue economy in Quebec. So this is a large part of our mandate as well.
And since the start of this crisis, can you share a little bit, like what type of initiative that will happen in your ecosystems?
Yeah, quite a few. We are very lucky. We are what we call a cold zone. I would even say a polar zone today, since we have snow. I was looking at Bree's window and I was kind of jealous having snow on the St. Lawrence River just in front of me today. Mm-hmm. Basically, what we did was a really, I would say, a case-by-case approach, since the COVID was affecting in a unique way every single business partner. What we did, we built, I would say, emergency unit, and we interact on a one-to-one basis with all our customers and all our partners, just to make sure that we were bringing the proper solutions on the table. Of course, we are doing some banking. So this is clear that a lot of initiative we did was based on cash flow issues. Mm-hmm. But quite frankly, with the reopening, we have to go, we have to be a little bit more inventive than that. This is clear now that the challenges will be more than just cash flow issues. We have to learn how to work, how to do business, how to transfer technologies in what I call now the new normal. Right. We have to be a little bit more proactive, a little more inventive, and this is what we are doing today all together.
And you know, and Martin, you know, and guys, Florian, Bria, thank you so much for being here. We will need to wrap very fast, but I will leave you a last word, please. Considering that you have a couple of hundred people in front of you, a couple of government, what would be a message that you have, considering your, you know, your, like, do you have a message? What is an action that government can do that could be useful for your ecosystems? Like just a little message that you can send away. Florian?
Yeah, so I think one thing that this world crisis opened is a transition to remote working. And I think especially for smaller cities like St. John's, encouraging startups to hire in remote location would be very positive. So something like tax credits if you employ staff in smaller cities would be very interesting to explore.
Noted. Thank you, Florian. Bria.
That's a great point. I would say continue to be responsive. I think the government federally and provincially has both shown up to listen to the ecosystem and figure out what's working, and have been very rapidly iterating on their programs. So don't lose sight of that as we transition to the next phase of what we're doing with COVID right now. Continue to listen to what's working and iterate on the fly.
Thank you so much, Bria. Martin?
In our case, I would say, as Bria, just keep the opening and the discussion about the programs. Of course, it's a crisis, so sometimes it's a little bit more top-down, but I'm pretty sure that most of the solutions are already available on the field, and we just have to keep networking to share those solutions and make sure that we keep going the new projects we have on the table, because I think the challenge is not only trying to save what we have on our plate, but I think what is critical for the next steps are really to make sure that new projects emerge post-COVID.
Right. Guys, thank you so much for your precious participation, and we'll invite you to join us in the breakout room later. Elias, it's your turn.
Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated, and sorry for this little time challenges. We're going definitely to do better next time. And in the meantime, what a beautiful event. So much content, so much collaboration, so much appetite to collaborate. That's very, very exciting. And honestly, I'm grateful for everybody who worked on this. I'm very, very grateful for all the speakers. The event is not over yet. I know we're a bit behind the schedule. And thank you so much for all the participants. I know we had like more than 550 people registering, and we still have about 200 and something people who are with us here. We said like we would stop at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I think. So now is the time that we've been waiting for, the networking part, the breakout sessions. So we are more than 240 people who are here, right here, chatting and being with us in this discussion. Now is the time to actually get out and go to the networking expo zone and the sessions. So how it works is fairly very, very simple. We're actually having, as you just saw around the Canadian ecosystem gathering, we're having rooms that are divided by density and spread. So if you're interested to dive deeper into the discussions on collaboration, lesson learned, etc., go right here. No, right here, sorry. Does it work? Here, you see sessions, networking, and expo. So take the time, click here, check the expos. We have some amazing organizations there that are here to support you and share with you, as well as the networking and the different breakout rooms. So check on the Canadian ones, high density, high spread, as well as collaboration and open innovation between startups, researchers, and enterprises. We have one on life science and healthcare with our friends of Montreal in Vivo, District 3, and others. We have one on manufacturing and supply chain and Industry 4.0, FinTech, InsurTech, and many, many culture, education, media, and entertainment. And of course, the 2 Canadian ecosystem gatherings, ones on high spread and high density. So please, please, please join here. Go on the sessions part. And on the networking part, you have like speed networking as well as on the expo. We just talked about the side of like post-COVID, and it made me think of some of my colleagues who are part of the Cooperaton team and the open innovation side, who are working with the 2 other organizations, Bonjour Startup and Google, on the post-COVID challenge, for example. So go and have information on that. There is like some Cooperaton stuff coming up as well. And I'm trying like to use Hopin as well as the StreamYard thing to check what's going on in the expo area. We have Cooperaton 2020 edition, well, Montreal Meet Tech, hello. Next gen supercluster manufacturing and manufacturing industry 4.0, Mangrove, obviously, the digital technology supercluster from BC. Our friends at FinTech Cadence who are also going to facilitate the FinTech one. Our friends of Queer Tech, awesome organization, as well as, of course, Soundtech, Van Hack, District 3, Quartier d'Innovation, the post-COVID challenge that I just talked about, World Discovery Asia, Montreal in Vivo, Le Wagon, Anna Avatar X Prize, Guidebolt, that I don't know, so I have to check who is there, these people, EXO, and RDFI, of course. So please, 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 go check it out. Go in the breakout rooms. I see that Patricio is talking here. So please go there. Oh, yeah, Alejandro, and there is Creative Collision. So much stuff to say. There is so much stuff to say. So Shane, for example, he's talking about like which breakout room would you like me to join? Thank you so much, Shane, for your time and all the insight that you've been talking about, as well as your nice willingness to like actually ask, what do you want me to do now? Give me something to do. I want to contribute. I love this spirit, and I think this is the spirit that we should all have to abide with. Definitely, Shane here. I would say check out, for example, the one on open innovation. I think there's so much things to be said around like what DMZ is doing around open innovation, as well as with our friends of District 3 and MT Lab, as well as on the ecosystem side. So we had this great conversation on the high density ecosystems. So it's this way. Go continue the conversation in the Canadian ecosystem gathering on the high density side. There is most of our speakers are still here. I know we run a bit out of time, but I don't want you to stay here in this kind of session. We have, I like it, 224. We need to get to 0. So stop being here. Please go on the other side. I see that we are still like so many people here. I need you, please, 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 to go to the other sessions. So it's over here. I want this number that I'm seeing here, 220, to get to 0. So I can keep talking, like, you know me, I can keep talking. I have a little bit of experience on that kind of stuff. So please, please, please go to this session. Time to move your session out. Please, 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 please. Est-ce qu'on m'entend encore?
Alors? Oui, j'essaie de me demander jusqu'à combien de temps. Est-ce que tu penses que ça va tomber jusqu'à 0 ou il faut vraiment arrêter?
Mais ça doit tomber à 0, il y a 550 personnes. Mais sinon, je vais... Oh, hello back. You put me back on stage. Okay.
Okay. So...
Well, I honestly, what do you think, Valentin?
I think if we keep talking, people just keep listening. People.
Yeah, so stop listening
there's
to me.
So many cool sessions. So many cool sessions.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please. Can I share my screen? Can you make it like as like...
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I hope that I don't have any bad stuff in the back. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Industrial
How does
secrets.
that work? Yeah, exactly. Share, don't show these tips again. Share screen. So, guys, I really hope that I don't have any crap on my... Well, I mean, like, I don't have any crap, but like just to see... Oh, hey, there you go. Like, Inception. So now we're in Inception mode. Yeah, exactly. Well, just
Past Valentine. This is Valentine from the future. How are things there? Amazing. Good. And
okay, so this is Valentine from the past and Elias from the future, or whatever. So please, this is very simple. I don't want to bother you with back and forth. So as you can see, where I have on StreamYard 205. You guys are really bad, ladies and gentlemen. You have to move. So here we have beautiful chats. As you can see, hello everyone. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being with us and your patience. Now it's time to move to sessions. Hey, it's almost rhymed. Thanks for your patience. Now it's time to move to sessions. It doesn't really rhyme. Okay, so the breakout rooms are here. If you can see, on my screen, I don't know if you can design, but like if you see here, you go on the sessions. So on your screen, you go on the left. So you use your left hand. I think it's this way. I don't know if I'm showing it rightly, but you go on your left side and you nicely click on one of those beautiful sessions that our wonderful friend Gwen designed beautifully and that you can enter. So as you can see here on the Open Innovation one, we have 100 people. It's amazing, 100 people in the Open Innovation side. On the Life Science one, we have 44. I feel like I'm like a kind of like a cheerleader. Woohoo! So we have 46 people on the Open Innovation side. Open Innovation Manufacturing with our friends of NextGen, 55 people. 54 people who are interested in manufacturing and supply chain. That's so exciting. Usually it's like the boring stuff that we have to push people to say that without manufacturing and supply chain and AI and stuff with scale AI and everyone, like you wouldn't be eating your stuff. And you would, yeah, you know, like what we had in the introduction about the importance of PPE and all the work that has been done. That's thanks to manufacturing, supply chain, and Industry 4.0, Scale AI, NextGen, and others. Same thing on FinTech. We have our friends of FinTech, just 12 people. That's not enough. I want more people in the FinTech. And just to be clear, all those sessions are around open innovation. So it's allowing collaboration throughout ecosystems, etc. We have the and others. We have the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering. So please, please, please join the Canadian Ecosystem Gathering. High spread. How can I like? Am I comment ça s'appelle? Un modérateur? Alejandro, if you're moderating this, please move this up. We want the Canadian custom gatherings, high spread and high density. High spread, there are too many, I'm lost. Why do we have 4? I'm high spread, we have like, guys, I don't know what's going on here, but like, where is high density? Here, high spread, like, yeah, room 7. I want to join this room 7. So I click here and I join the session. It's not very hard. Okay, wonderful. Here we can chat with people. Okay, I'm like, okay, then you have like the chats that are going on. So, yeah. So please, everyone, I can see that there are so, Alejandro, can, like, if you hear me, I'm going to do this live. We have high spread here, high density here. I feel that there are too many rooms versus too many people. Can we close some rooms and push people to move to others? Like high spread here, high spread here.
I think we have to stop the stream because at that stage, people are just curious to see more of you. So I think the best way for people to go to sessions is to actually stop the stream.
Okay, so in a nutshell, please, guys, je sais même pas ce que je suis. Mais just go in the session. Like I'm out. Close the stream here. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm done.
Bye, Elias.
Attends, il y a Gwen qui m'appelle. Hello, Gwen.
Okay, bye, Elias.
She blocked me. Ciao, in a bit.
And see you guys on the sessions.
Yeah, ciao. I am definitely looking forward to the sessions.
Yeah, we'll be there. The whole team. Ciao.